right. We live everywhere. We live on YouTube. We live on Facebook. We live on Instagram. I want to welcome everybody to a special edition of the Gemini Podcast, live from the studio. But today is election day, so it's really important for me. So I want to just give a big shout out to my brother, Mr. Nino, to the J say all the names he want to be called for going out and voting today. I appreciate you, bro. Bro called me. He said, "Hey, what should I do, bro? Which way I need to go? What I do?" I said, "Bro, you're in the right place first of all because you're at the location you're voting." So that was good. I was thankful for that. And then I had several other calls say, "Hey, where do I go vote for?" Those are good proactive measures. I'm glad those people got out there and exercised their rights to vote today. Uh, Today, I got my first guest ever on the Gemini Podcast, this edition anyway. And, so it's only fitting that we start out with my boy, Mr. TB, all the way in the house, Terry. What you up to today, T?
Oh man, really making dreams come true today. Stop it. Stop it.
All right, now, so what you got going on? We welcome you today. What you got going on today?
Falling through. I mean, really falling through. First time. I ain't went and voted yet. I'll say that. Yeah. I gotta get to it. Day the last day. But we still got a few hours though, so
yeah,
that's me using my full clock. Yeah.
You got about 2 hours until the polls close.
About 2 hours. We got to get the podcast short, it sounds like.
Yeah, 2 hours before the polls close.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm a special guest anyway, so I mean, you know what I mean?
Welcome you here today. We glad to have you on the Gemini Podcast. Mr. T, you know what I'm saying, is not only my family, but he's my security business partner as well, too. And we are just finished a very exciting meeting today. That is going to mean real big things for us in the future, for the industry, and just for the people that we want to that we get the chance to employ going forward. It's going to help a lot of people. So I'm thankful for the meeting today. Let me give a big shout out to A-Dub and Ant, Officer Muse for coming through and everybody, and give a shout out to our sales team and give a shout out to Mel for all the work and contributions that she brings to the table. And anybody else that's involved going forward.
Yeah, because it's about to be way bigger than anything we could have imagined. Actually, we already been imagining, but we came in now.
Now we get a chance to do it. You know what I'm saying? Now we get a chance to take care.
Doing it.
Yeah. So on a louder note, normally we would say it on a lighter note. We say it on a louder note. Who cousin won lottery today? They talking about some technical difficulty. Well, let me see. You know what I'm saying? What's going on over here? They say the Metro Atlanta sold a gas ticket. Then they said it had some technical difficulties, but now they telling us a number. But who won?
That's when you know that it's being controlled at some degree. It's got to be controlled.
But control. Who won though? We need to know who won.
They from Cause Records. They from Cause Records.
So when I was growing up, the lottery didn't really get past, a couple million. Now this thing in the billion. How they getting their money? I mean, we paying into it or something? What's going on?
Oh, they finna take $1 billion.
So if I win 2 billion, I'm only getting maybe 1 billion.
You better hope you get 999.
I mean, I'm cool with that. If I just went from
absolutely,
regular to a billionaire, then I'm cool with that.
Absolutely,
I take that all day.
$1 over $1 billion. I'm good.
Yeah, $1 over
$1.
Not $1 less, not a penny less.
They done took 2 almost. Don't cut it short.
So okay. Now, obviously, like the people that win the Powerball, they're gonna need our services. Tell me a little bit about how you can help somebody that wins the Powerball. Why they will hire you?
Oh man, because the executive protection quality that we have is substantial enough to cover a billionaire. you know what I mean, somebody who basically got the world in their hands at this point could definitely benefit from our services to be protected from, you know what I mean, a cybersecurity standpoint, all the way down to the physical well-being, family, surveillance, anything, transport, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like basically just go ahead and use our services from the ground up. And once you come from, you know, that dollar poor guy to the millionaire, you can use our services through and through.
So you're saying basically you can work with anybody. Anybody.
We can work with anybody as long as you have a budget. We can talk.
We said, as long as you got a budget. That's as long as you got a budget. That's the most important thing. You don't have a budget, I don't know if we can talk.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a regular Joe and just want to, you know what I mean, feel safe and secure at night or wherever you may be. By all means, you and your old lady, your family, however, you know what I mean. Like you hire us, and that way you can sleep peacefully at night. That way you can walk the streets at night. You can't see everything. You know what I mean. You got 180 degrees spectrum. I got the six.
You know, we so what you're basically saying is in the industry these days, you know, we just seen a shooting in Chicago over the weekend that happened in an apartment complex, and I saw that shooting as if like, did you see that?
Yes.
Like, what if you were in that position? Like, how do we, you know, what do we start doing in our community to be able to start changing the narrative with the industry that we're in, which is executive protection and security, but we're trying to transcend that to a different level of understanding to where it's not just looking at when something happens, I need somebody there. You know, we already know the police is pretty depleted in some senses. You know, they need support. And so not all the time the police is going to be available for you right when you call if you didn't put proactive measures in place.
Absolutely.
We seen events go from a possible chaos, not even on an issue happening, to having security in place, to now that issue kind of being solved based on us being there.
Yeah, because we're customer service first. You know what I mean? We're here to give whatever our customer needs. You know what I mean? Whether it's attention, whether it's attention to detail, whether it's attention to our surroundings, et cetera, et cetera. It's a buildup of things that security or, you know what I mean, syndicates offer in those terms. So it's like people that's thinking alike, being alike, can also gather and come up with a bigger plan to help cover our communities as well. I mean, you've seen you've seen other groups do it, Black Panthers, et cetera, but we don't have to do it to that extreme. It's just basically being out to where we're having conversations when we're out working and being decent people when we're out working as well. Because at any given time, a cop is a regular human, FBI agent is a regular human, the investigator is a regular human, the mayor is a regular human, the president is a regular human, high ranking officials, all the way top to bottom, everybody's human. You know what I mean? Talk to each other, live with each other. Like that's it. We don't never want to go out and put our hands on anybody. That's a bad day.
So what you feeling about, like, even with the crime and the things that we're experiencing these days? Oh, first of all, that was a good one on that answer. We gotta give you some. Gotta give you some else. So I mean, we experiencing like crime like no other these days, to where we don't even really, you know, we can't even really just predict, you know, what's gonna happen next. You know, and in this day, just going to the grocery store is tougher than it was a year ago. You know, just even right after a release from a pandemic, you know, we're experiencing a surge in just crime, and we experience a surge in.
Why? Can we?
I mean, if you want to ask me, I'm gonna say economics. It's all about money, and it's all about not just money, but money. We know that is sometimes tied to a person's mental capacity, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? A person's ability to be able to process something with an open mind. You know, like maybe you got a closed mind when you ain't got no money. You like, oh my God, it's desperate, it's situations. Then opposed to, you know, being able to have an open mind and that comfort level to be able to be creative.
You know, I mean, we know where we come from. So you know what I mean? You can be broke and still have rich thoughts. You know what I mean?
But you got to act on those rich thoughts.
That part, and it's like it's choosing which way to react. We could be out here doing the same thing every day.
I mean,
we could be doing the same exact thing, but we literally wake up and make a choice. Like what are these affecting? You know what I mean? Like what's affecting their choice pattern to do this every day in day out? Is it not you not getting caught?
I think it's the hunger for like these days. It's all about having money or not having money, or if you got money. And reason why I'm saying it's an economic situation is because in some senses you don't see equity, you don't see an equal playing field, and now you see a different level of situations. Just face it, like the crime that we've traditionally heard of is saying, okay, poor people go to the rich people's neighborhood. Rich people don't want the poor people in their neighborhood because they may break in their houses. Um, that seems like you got something, I don't have nothing, I'm coming to get something. That doesn't make it right. It's just saying, why are we at this point? And to an economic standpoint, if you're in a neighborhood where you have inadequate transportation, you have bad food choices, lower income housing, less amenities, less resources as far as educational and things like that, you tend to think that, okay, well, I need to eat, so I got to go somewhere where there's food. And now you have an economic part of the process that the people on the higher part of the chain become the food or the target. And the people on the lower part, because they economically can't get out of this position, justify their hunger and their need to feed themselves with crime.
How do you think the prosecution of the cats that do get caught, how do you think that affects the trend of constantly doing
that? Definitely does, because now when they go into jail is not like it was back in the day. Prison is not like it used to be. Prison used to be where, you would go to prison and a person would do their crime and then go to prison. You wouldn't see them for 10 years if they had 10 years. You ain't seen them for 10 years. It's like, damn, Mookie swole, man. Mookie, you know what I'm saying? You ain't seen Mookie in 10 years. But now Mookie's got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and he got 3,000 on the Cash App.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In jail.
Right.
So that time is not the same. And then you go in jail and capitalizing on, whatever that is going on inside of that system, but it's not really that punishment that it used to be.
Yeah,
and then
you see it's a trend now where, they actually putting out where people are leaving jail, you know what I mean, escaping jail, being able to come back. That was on the news recently. And it's like, it's really I feel like the integrity of the system is so broken that, all the way from, and not to throw no shade or no guard that's doing their job, but for the ones that, are the bad apples, they jack it up for a lot of us, and they start setting a very, very low standard of respect and everything that come with that.
Because how's the stuff getting in jail?
If you got a man that leaves jail to go shoot a music video and able to come back, like, come on, bro.
That's the magic question.
Come on, bro. I love jail. Shot a video and came back to jail.
And guess what? I didn't have to pay no rent while I was in jail. Yeah. So it's some people in jail that don't want to be there. And there's some people in jail that's comfortable with it. Also, it's become somewhat of a death sentence to some sentences. Like people get sent to jail to die. Not necessarily by the time that they're doing, but from the people in the jail. I mean, look at Wright Street right now. Wright Street has always traditionally been like a scary place, you know what I'm saying? For a person who, it's a scary place.
Right.
And so now it's even more scary because even though, with all due respect to Sheriff Labatt and his team and the things that the Fulton County Sheriff's Department is doing, because I really big up on the Fulton County Sheriff's Department because they're working with what they have. But and upon the sheriff's recommendation to the Atlanta City Council, we got to move quick on giving this jail some relief and putting some inmates in another position, another geographical location. And then we even need to start some type of process. If we're going to put these guys over here, we just can't house guys in jail. Traditionally, programs have been put in place for guys come out of jail with degrees and things like that. But I mean, are they really still coming out of jail with degrees and all those things like they used to?
Make it mandatory. Why not make it mandatory?
You're in here, you don't get to just sit here and not productively do anything.
You don't get to leave until you finish this degree. Yeah. Like, make that part of the standard. Like, you're going to have to come out educated whether you like it or not. And what you choose to do after that, if you want to come back, I guess you're going to be one smart criminal sitting in this jail. But you're going to be a doctor sitting in D block.
But you got something done. So now when you get outside, you may be more inclined to do something different based on you having taken the time, whether it was forced or mandatory, forced or voluntarily, taking the time to actually productively do something while you were incarcerated.
Shout out to APD and every law enforcement agency.
Absolutely, they got to do their job.
Yeah, and everybody.
Citizen full and everybody watching.
Everybody.
Also, shout out to the citizens. You know what I'm saying? I'm a citizen, and I want to make sure that I, shout out to the citizens that actually care about their community and they're actually out there, providing that support for law enforcement, because sometimes they get a bad rep. But how many folks gonna go put on their uniform?
That's the biggest thing. It's like you can knock the police all day, you can call them 12. No matter what, y'all still call the police in some form of fashion. Y'all still be seeking the law at the end of the day. And then y'all that don't seek law, y'all end up with the law anyway because you still didn't think it through.
Which brings me to that next point. Make sure y'all go vote. Your city councilman, your judges, your district attorney, your solicitor general, your mayors, all those people are up for elections on ballots all over the country. So we got to make sure that we pay attention to that, exercise that, because
the game changes.
Yeah, look at Georgia. We got this law where everybody can carry a weapon. That's constitutional carry. I don't know how I told you. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's some people that even got the license to carry shouldn't be carrying it. You know what I mean? It's when you got a weapon, you got to know that you're a killer with the weapon. You can be a killer 10 times over. You know what I mean? You never know how to.
Even babies have been killers of themselves or each other based on non-training on weapons.
Absolutely. The discipline behind it, the carelessness, everything. You know what I mean? Just the disregard and disrespect for it. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's what really makes the gun laws look a little funny, because of the disrespect or the disregards that some gun owners show to their weapons. You know what I mean? Like, if you have no prior training, if you don't even want to take the time to just learn about it, know how to carry it, you know what I mean? Because shout out to the women who carry it right. Shout out to the women who know how to shoot it. Shout out to all y'all that you know what I mean, that's done took the time. Shout out to the ones who want to try. But for the ones that don't give no, you know what I mean? But you got this gun in the bottom of your purse, jingling around with all your keys, lipsticks, and keychains and combs and
you're going brushes. For it, or you're going for something else in your purse, and boom.
Sweetheart, come on now.
I knew some of these things were gonna happen when I knew that law was about to be passed, because I knew that these things were gonna be things that people were gonna become nervous and fearful. People became fearful and went and got guns all over the place, and people became fearful and went and got guns all over the place. And all of a sudden, you got people carrying weapons that didn't know how to carry them, didn't know what they were doing with them, and didn't know how to store it.
In their pocket, cheddar bobs. For all the cheddar bobs, especially the ones with cheddar bobs with extendo clips, they look real funny. Yeah, right. But what are you doing though that you got to walk around with an extended clip though? That's another question. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Like, what are you into, bro? Like, you walking around with 762 in the chamber. What are we talking about? What are you into? Who's after you?
And why are you outside if somebody after you?
What are you doing? I'm not understanding. I get simple protection sometimes, home protection definitely, but you riding around looking for trouble, ready for trouble. You probably are in trouble. Like,
I ride around at least 5, 6, 7 guns at a time. But
but that's because you're in the industry. But,
yeah.
Most people, when are you ever going to be able to get to those weapons if it's not, you know what I mean, plan or execute it. Like,
I'm pop the trunk. Literally, like that's the whole saying. You say, remember the folks say, "Don't make me pop the trunk." Well, we bringing that term back. Don't make me pop the trunk.
but that's how you know what no real killer after whoever was popping that trunk. Because at this point,
Oh, so what you saying about the folks in the past that was popping the trunk?
the person really wasn't trying to kill him.
They had backup. Well, yeah, they was giving them a warning.
Really trying to
if I pop the trunk, I'm gonna have to get you. But I'm telling you, I might pop the trunk. So you better watch it.
Quick draw me draw.
That sounds like what my boy Nard said on Everything I Love. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. my boy Nard on Everything I Love. You know, so that we're gonna take a quick break, real quick. You know, from part one with our first guest with Terry the Bear Bryant. Oh, okay. You know, we just chopping it up. You know, right now you can join us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we're also recording this. But it's the first time. Cool. We're gonna go back and recap and put a couple things together, and we'll be back in about.
Hold on. How about them dogs?
Oh yeah. So I still got to collect the money that these people owe me for the game. You know, Georgia Bulldogs basically showed the country while y'all sitting there putting Tennessee at number one, putting us at number three. That was disrespectful.
How they do that?
That was disrespectful. Like we the defending national champions.
They haven't even been a contender in I mean, at this point, take the team away.
Well, I think that they just wanted to choose somebody else outside of Georgia. But the thing is, they never did Alabama like that.
Absolutely right.
Never did. We were stronger than Alabama this year and last year. They never did Alabama like that. They never dropped them from the standings. They always kept them where it was. That's Alabama.
So we're gonna play LSU in the SEC championship at this point.
Because Alabama got beat. They're a 2-loss team. Yeah, so we got to play LSU in the SEC championship, and that's good. We're gonna roll over LSU, and we're gonna come on back and we're gonna win the national championship in the college football playoff. And we're gonna have the first undefeated season where we won a national championship.
Yeah, 2 years.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's go, dogs.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see y'all in about 10 minutes. Get this thing together. Let's get everything charged up and revamp. We'll catch y'all back in a minute. Peace.